so today we are going to talk about beans. Alright, so as you look around, you're going to see that my patio garden is mostly full of beans right now. And we're going to go through why I love beans, why is my patio garden mostly full of beans right now, and we're going to go through all the nitty-gritty of why I think is a great place for you to start if you are a beginning gardener, and especially if you don't know what to do for fall. Beans are going to be your safe place and the thing you want to try. So let's go through this. Okay, so right now is the middle of September the 12th, okay? So here in Mississippi, it is still super hot. We're just now getting some of those cooler temperatures. So in August, I know that it's going to be in the hundreds. It's going to be in upper 90s, hundreds. It's the hottest month here in Mississippi for us, and things are not going to grow. They're not going to grow. So in central United States on up into the north, they're able to start their fall gardens. But here in Mississippi, if I put stuff in the ground, it is not going to work, except for one thing, and that is beans. So beans and some peas, what we would call like cow peas, okay? I'm not talking about your sugar snaps and things that like cold weather, but you can research which beans love warmer seasons, and that you can actually plant. September, like these were planted at the end of August, okay? And so these are the results of 2 weeks ago, roughly, okay? They're fast germinating. So beans will work great in that hot month that you're kind of scared to plant too much because you don't want to lose it. You're not sure what's going to happen weather-wise. They are a safe bet, okay? Let's talk about germination and why not only are they a safe bet in these warmer weathers for us that live in the South, but we get a quick result on that investment of our time in planting these legumes. Okay, so like I said, these were just done at the end of August, and I did water. The sun got a hold of that one pretty good, but he'll pop up and be okay. So this is about 2 weeks, and for these, I can get a harvest in about 45 days. So you're talking 45 days. That's pretty good considering all I have to do, stick a seed in the soil, water them, and walk off, okay? And let's go through to see how I have many that are ready to harvest right now. If you go across here, you can see beans in here. You can see beans hanging down there. There goes one in down there. I have beans here, here. They're all in those beds, and those beds down there, there. So beans are everywhere. Now all of these were succession planted. So if you didn't see that video, I'm going to link it up here at the top, or hopefully link it at the end of the video. But let's talk about succession real quick. Is you can see these are newer. This is my oldest bed. They're going to be done pretty soon, okay? Same thing here. They got planted later. That's one of my newest beds. That's even younger. These over here are even younger. I'm getting beans at least once a week when I go through here, and I get a pretty good harvest. And so beans are reliable in warmer weather. They're going to grow, and I'm going to get a harvest continuously because I succession planted, which means I planted one set, I waited 2 weeks, I planted another set, I waited 2 weeks, I planted another set, and it keeps going, okay? So if you do that, then you're going to have a fresh vegetable that you can rely on. So I have 4 different types of beans and peas growing up here. So let's go through them. Kentucky Wonder, and this bed, that bed, that bed, all these potted plant pots, that bed, and that bed. So that is the main one that's up here. Those are going to be my string beans. They're easy to put up. So I can freeze dry them, I can freeze them, and I can can them. So I have 3 different ways to put those up. And then here I have our King of the Garden lima beans. And I think the best way to show those are going to be from this angle, because you can really see them coming through there. So we're just now getting a pretty good crop of those. And to be truthful, lima beans don't really make it to the cooking pot too often at my house because we love to just break them open and eat them raw. My kids would rather eat their beans and peas out of the pod instead of me cooking them. And I think that's awesome because they're going to get a lot more nutrients and nutrition from those raw beans than they are from cooked beans. This bed is doing great, planted at the same time as this bed. And you can see it's not doing so hot. But guess which one of these beds gets full sun most of the day? It's going to be this bed. So I know that I'm going to have better luck growing my lima beans over here, okay? That tend to like it just a little bit cooler. And so they're doing great on this side of the house. But this bed isn't. And right now, remember I told you August, hottest month, full blazing sun, nothing's in that bed, right? But it's okay. It doesn't need to be in that bed. I'm willing to wait on that. So that's something to think about when you're planting lima beans. Kentucky Wonders all through there. And then up here was an experiment. And up here is my purple pod beans. And these actually came from seeds from my grandmother. And these are the ones I have down in the big garden. So that was my big crop. But I put them up here to see how they would do. And I'm going to have to get my ladder, as you can see, to get a hold of these up there. So pretty good climbers. So if you have a trellis, just like I did the lima beans, those would be excellent. Also had black-eyed peas up here. They're at the end, but I got quite a few from those. And same thing on black-eyed peas. They just kind of eat them out of the pod. So unless I just grow a whole ton of those, I don't really put those up a whole lot. We like to eat fresh. But I'm going to be planting more of these. And then here is my experiment bed that I did this summer with Swiss chard. This actually made it all the way through June and July and August from seed. I didn't think it'd make it. It was just kind of an idea. When it started propping up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to protect it from the sun with this little shade thing I have from the kids' old sandbox. And it worked. It worked. So I plan on planting Swiss chard, carrots, and lettuce in between all of these bean plants for now to help shade those seedlings. And then as they get bigger and these beans start to fade out and they're not going to produce anymore, I'm going to pull those. Now, as we talk about fading, let's talk about that real quick. So notice I said when they finally fade out. I've seen countless times where gardeners only get 1 or 2 crops off of their plants and then they pull them. They think they're done. Well, sometimes you'll have a good crop, you'll pull it, and you think they're not going to produce anymore. Just give them time. Give them time. You'd be surprised how long bean plants, okra, peppers. My peppers start in early summer, and I do not pull them up till like October when they turn brown because they're still going to produce. I still have jalapenos going, banana peppers going, bell peppers are going down in the big garden, and I'm just going to keep them. And so don't pull your plants too soon. Same thing with basil. My basil has popped right back up. So keep that in mind before you pull your plants. So all of these beans can stay until they turn brown, and I know for sure they are done, okay? They don't have any more flowers showing up. You have to give those plants time to rest, and they need to produce the next crop. So it's okay. That's why you have succession planting. So that way when that bed is resting, getting ready for the next crop, this bed is ready to go. And that's the key in that, especially if you're living in a small space, you're on that apartment patio, or you're just, all you have is a small backyard. You want to utilize that succession planting to make sure that you're getting food on a continuous basis throughout the season. Beans and peas actually return nitrogen to your soil. So instead of taking away from your soil, they're actually feeding your soil and giving you back the nutrients that other plants need. That's why you also want to companion plant beans with other things. In past videos, you've seen where I companion planted these nitrogen fixers with tomatoes, right? So in my cages here, I have beans where the tomatoes are. So let me show you that. So this is a cherry tomato. It's been pulled. Frankly, the kids were just sick of eating cherry tomatoes, and they were just wasting them. And so I'm going to plant kale right here. Okay, doing that companion planting again, a dinosaur kale that's going to go up this cage. So I'm not going to remove the cage because I'm going to need it for the kale. But here I have the beans. Same thing here. There was a cherry tomato, and then I planted beans around it. And look what I have now. So not only did they fix my soil, but I got another crop out of a potted plant. Okay, so a potted tomato. So I grew vegetables on my porch in a pot. So I did that to that one. Did it to this one. I haven't pulled this cherry tomato just because it's so interwrapped with the lima beans. I'm scared to pull it. So I'm leaving that, but you see I have beans on there. And then the tomatoes that were here, they also have beans in them. And once again, I want to plant kale here as well. So we love kale. It's going to get cooler, and so kale's my number one thing that I want to plant in there. But also companion planting. Look what I got in here. Peppers. Peppers, they're still blooming. They're still going. Look, right there. Here's an awesome, beautiful one right here. It's going to turn orange. Woo, there we go. Okay, so don't be scared to companion plant your beans around your peppers. And look, full harvest. I'm fixing to go picking. Here we go. So I usually hit these once a week. And yeah, some of them get a little too big. You know, they're not that good. But overall, most of them are going to be great. Beans also give you a crop while you're letting your garden beds rest. So for August, I planted the beans. I'm getting a crop from the beans, but I'm also letting these beds kind of rest. Remember, they're feeding nitrogen back into the soil. So they're kind of recovering from all of those heavy feeder plants that were planted in here before that would have taken that nitrogen out of the soil. So I'm letting these beds rest a little bit by planting these beans in here and getting it ready for the next fall crops I'm going to do. I want lettuce in here. I want kale in here. I want to put Swiss chard in here, especially now that I figured out I can grow it up here. So I'm getting ready for the crops that are coming in fall. Remember, here in Mississippi, I have a really long growing season. I can have stuff up here growing until November and December unless we just have a really unusual year. So this is just another great bonus of beans and peas. Alright, so we're going to go around and I'm going to harvest, and we're going to see how many beans I actually get off of this porch after a week. So I picked them, I think, last Sunday. And so we'll go through again and see how many I get this Sunday. Just thought I'd show you. Why am I wearing boots out here and it is hot? Well, I twisted my ankle 2 days ago, and so these are helping. So the dog decided to squeeze in between me and the railing of the porch, and there wasn't enough room for both of us, and so I was the one who fell and twisted my ankle pretty good, and so I've been wearing these. So I already have almost a whole strainer basket full, and I haven't even hit the big bed. going to talk about the advantage of growing beans in a raised bed like this. You could just put these in your backyard. They don't have to be in your porch. But look, I'm right here, and I get to turn this plant, do it like this. If this was in a normal garden on the ground, I'd have to be way down here doing this. So if you're someone with back problems, or you just don't want to have to bend down like that, older and stuff, this may be the way to go. This is why I love these patio gardens, because they are easy to grow on. And look, I can just sit there, I can observe this and say, okay, I want to get this one and this one and over here, and I can just go through these like super easy, instead of sitting there on the ground having to pretty much just stay bent down on my knees, or squat it and just move through the bean bed. Instead, I'm just sitting in here and make sure my camera's right, and I can just say, oh, there they are, and I'm still standing up. So I just finished this whole bed, and I did end up with topped out at the top. So we are not going to be able to eat all of these in one sitting. So I'm going to end up cooking half of them, having enough for supper tonight, and definitely leftovers for tomorrow. Big into leftovers. And then the rest of them I'm going to blanch and put up in the freezer, and that way I have a choice to either just keep them frozen or put them in the freeze jar. And we have actually freeze dried some. They have this really super weird texture. I hope that I was able to convince you to plant beans and peas, and hopefully you will add these to your garden, and you will try to stretch them out from spring all the way into fall. So if you want to find out more about that, definitely get on the Facebook group, Wildwood Wonder. If you find the page, you'll find a link in there to the group. The group is where we're more active because it lets me post more and just get more engagement with y'all as group members instead of on the page. There's a lot of good information in there. You can also check out the blog on the website. I'll have the link in there. And if you would like to support our homestead at all, go check out all the items that we have in our shop that are inspired by our homestead and living in nature and out in the middle of the woods out here. And so all the wonderful things that we get to experience is what our shop and Wildwood Wonder is about. So definitely check that out and give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you like the content. So I will see you next time.